Hey guys, how is it all going? So, as always, thank you so much for joining me for what is my It's a Wonderful Knife movie review. And before we dive into the plot and the review, I just want to let you guys know, as all my new movie reviews, this will be spoiler free, so there'll be absolutely no spoilers in this review whatsoever, guys. Okay? So, the plot of this movie is it's set in a small town at Christmas, and there's a young lady that foiled a serial killer. And unfortunately for this young lady, this serial killer killed her friend in a pretty brutal way. I will be honest. Anyway, fast forward a year later, and obviously this young lady is still feeling the effects of what happened that evening. But the rest of the town and her family have seemed to kind of just move on and not forget about what happened, but have just kind of moved on and put it behind them, have kind of dealt with it. But obviously for our main lead, she hasn't been able to do that, and she has been struggling a lot to deal and cope with it, and other things in her life aren't going as well as she hoped or as planned. So one night she takes a walk and she notices something magical in the sky happening, and there is a word for it, and they do mention it in the movie, but I will be damned trying to say what that is or even remember the word of that. So I'm not even going to try. But then she sees something magical in the sky, something beautiful with nature, and she decides to wish that she was never born because for some reason she feels like people around her in the town would be better off. Anyway, her wish gets granted, and the killer is still around because if she's not born, she doesn't exist. The killer wasn't stopped the year before, so a lot more people have died, and this has carried on for the year. So now our main lead has to decide how she's going to put a stop to that and get back to her own reality. So that's the plot of the movie. And I will say this, for the first 15 to 20 minutes, I was highly on board with this movie. I was really enjoying it, to be honest with you. Up until she says the wish and she changes to like an alternative reality or a different timeline or whatever, right? Whatever. It doesn't really matter. And then from then on, the movie just takes an absolute rapid decline for me. It becomes pretty unbearable to watch. It got truly awful. And it surprised me by how much it went downhill at such a rapid pace after starting off pretty strong, in my opinion. I mean, right. So I like to start off with positive, guys, anyway. So I'll get my positives out the way, and then I'll dive into like why I thought the movie just took a rapid decline. Um, I like the look of the killer, and It's a Wonderful Knife. I think it's quite cool looking. It's like kind of like they call him the Angel, like Angel of Death, I suppose. And it looks quite intimidating, and it looks quite cruel. And I agree with JT, my mate, what he said in his review. It gave me very strong Scream vibes for some reason. I don't know why, but the moment you said that, JT, it like clicked with me, and I completely agreed with you. It did with me as well. So I like the look of the killer. When the kills happen, the kills are decent. Like I said at the beginning, where like she kills her friend, that's pretty brutal. Like I felt quite sorry for her friend. And there's one where a guy gets like a piece of like candy cane or whatever, like through the back of his head, through his mouth. That was a cool shot, and that was actually a cool kill. Quite like that. But like I say, this is all in the beginning of the movie. Um, the acting for the most part is fine. It's okay. Like no one's terrible, no one's really bad. The characters are your normal, typical characters when it comes to movies like this. They're fine, they're fine. And like I say, the acting's okay for the most part. For the most part. And this is where I dive into my negatives. Now, like I say, the moment our main character makes that wish and then everything changes, the movie just completely changes. And I think some of the acting choices are weird. Now, I don't know whether they're acting. I'm not going to blame the actors on this one. I'm not. I think that this comes with the director and the direction they wanted to go. And to be fair, I'm probably being a bit harsh there because I think the actors did a decent job with what they were given. But yeah, it just seemed to just drop downhill a bit. And the one person in particular, and I don't like picking out actors or stuff like that, but I would say like Justin Long in this movie. Now, I like Justin Long, and I like him in pretty much everything he's done. The guy is a solid actor. But I think he makes a weird choice in this movie. Like, I don't know whether his character doesn't know what movie he's in, but then this is what I'm saying. Like, I'm not blaming the actors because sometimes I don't feel like the movie understands what the movie is itself. I don't know whether it tries to be a horror comedy sometimes or just a horror, or it can't really make its mind up. And Justin Long's character, he's a little bit kind of like over the top. He's like a proper kind of pantomime villain in this movie. Sometimes it works, but sometimes it really stands out and it doesn't work depending on the shift of tone the movie has taken for the time. And it's just a little bit jarring. I don't know whether it was jarring for anyone else that's watched this movie. I don't know. But for me, it was a little bit. I don't know why. I can't really put my finger on it. And I've watched this movie twice now. Twice, right? Because the first time I watched it, I didn't remember a damn thing about it. It just didn't catch my attention whatsoever. Like I say, it did for the opening 15, 20 minutes, but after that, it lost me. So I needed to watch it again to kind of do this review and have some information for you guys. Again, though, second time around, the movie finishes. 5 minutes later, it's completely gone out my mind. I have forgotten about it. And that's the problem. It's forgettable. Really forgettable. And what I do remember of it, I remember the movie just making odd choices. Now, it's hard to dive into without spoiling the movie. And like I say, I'm not going to spoil the movie at all. But when she makes her wish and it changes timeline or alternate dimension or whatever, it sets up rules and then breaks its own rules as the movie goes along, especially at the end. Didn't make any sense. And also, it tries to be too clever with kind of like its own plots and twists and stuff, which really does not need to happen at all. It's like it just tries to be too clever for its own good, and it just makes itself look stupid and not make sense, really. And I'm surprised he made certain choices they did, and then especially near the end in the third act, it makes weird choices with certain things that just doesn't mash up, and it lost me. It just lost my attention. I just thought it was bad, and it was so disappointing because for me, this movie starts off so solid, and then I just don't think the movie knows what it wants to be. And it's like there were so many cooks in the kitchen, there were so many ideas. And without just picking the best ideas, it's like they've thrown every idea they had at the wall and just hoped it all stuck and made sense. And it doesn't. It falls apart very hard by the end of this movie. And like I say, this film's only like an hour and a half long, probably a little bit shorter than an hour and a half long. But my God, second time around watching this, I felt like this was on for like 3 hours. Like it just, yeah, I did not enjoy this movie whatsoever. So guys, it won't come as any surprise to you as I give It's a Wonderful Knife. I'll be fair because I did like the look of the killer. Some of the kills were decent. And like I said, the acting's not bad at all. Do you know what? I kind of think they did a good job with the material they were given, to be honest with you. But other than that, I cannot recommend this movie at all. And it's unfortunate because I was actually quite looking forward to this movie when I first saw the trailer. So I'm going to give It's a Wonderful Knife, I'm going to give it a 1 out of 5. So guys, have you seen the movie yet? What did you think of it? Actually, did you enjoy it? Please leave a comment below, guys. It is absolutely always a pleasure hearing from you. And as always, please take care of yourselves and each other, and I will see you again real soon. Take care, guys. Goodbye now.